Hi, I'm back again. Um, the reason for this video today is I want to talk about budgeting and banking. I know that you may or may not have seen my other video. I was talking about online banking, but we're not going to be doing, no one's going to be seeing any of my accounts or doing any online banking. I can talk about online banking. But if we're doing budgeting, it's going to be cash. We're not going to get into any of the other stuff, but we can talk about it. Um, I feel that knowing your budget is very important, especially if you're learning to live on your own. I do feel that it's very important to get familiar with it as well as getting familiar with a budget because you do not want to be without money because being without money it's hard because if you only get a certain amount of money for uh, to spend each month you're gonna want to have a little extra cushion when you pay your bills or whatever. You always want to have an extra cushion there to help you. So it's always good to have like a little bit of money in the bank or something like that to do that. So you can have a little cushion there. So let's say you open up a let's say you open up a checking account and you put $76 to open an account. Um, 25 to open the account, and then you put a little bit extra in there to save in there or keep that account open. It's always good. And then you have $25 and you open a savings account, and the same thing, you put a little money in there to save. It's always good to do that. Whatever you have either left over from your last check can go in there. Um, extra $80 can go in there, and your whatever money you have left over for like say glasses or whatever you put in the bank, and then that way you don't have to worry about those things because it's you like I said, you always want to have some type of cushioning. You do not want to go without having a little bit of that money in the bank. um when I first started with money, I used to spend all of it within 1 week. So, and once I did that, I spent all my money in 1 week. So, when it came time for me to get stuff or if I needed something, I couldn't buy it. So, I had to go without a lot. So, it took um, me a while to learn how to figure out a budget each week, to figure out, okay, well, what do I want to keep out and what I want to put in the bank. And then I got a payee because I had a hard time managing money, or even keeping my just having money in hand. I've always wanted to automatically spend it. Um, want to have it, so it's like, now I got to get used to, okay, just because I have it doesn't mean I have to spend it. Excuse me. Uh, Sorry, dry throat. But it does take practice. When you're budgeting, it does take a while to figure out a system. Um, it did take me a while to figure out a system that works for me. And I'm still learning. It's still taking me a while to figure things out. Um, and it will take a long time. I mean, no one knows how to do money overnight. It doesn't work like that. So, like with me, like I said, I opened up a bank. I did some online banking, so my rent is 183. So I put 183 in the bank, and then that way, know that the money is in there. I can go into my online banking and I can transfer money from my savings to my checking and put 183 um into to put type in 183. That's what I'm going to be giving to them, and then hit the automatic payment, and then the bill's paid. So what it does, or when you hit confirm to pay your bill, uh, it will let you know if you succeeded or if it got declined and you have to redo it. So, but it is a little uh it does take time to learn. I'm still kind of learning. Like with CMP, with my light bill, that also goes into the bank, and I pay my lights the same way with online banking, and that does help a lot. I mean, it gets my bills paid, and once that happens, I don't have to worry about my bills. So, and then that to me, I think is a good thing because you don't want to worry about having a roof over your head or having lights to see or anything like that. So, it's always good to have something like that. Even like let's say food, I get $280 for food each month. So it's about $70 a week for food. $280 may seem like a lot, but it's not. Um, and I'll put that in the bank as well so I can save that in case, I need, excuse me, if I need something, it's in the bank, and then that way I can take at least a little bit of money out in case I need food like eggs, milk, or whatever I need. I can always take money out and go get those things. But it is a little, it's like I said, it's always good to keep a budget. Like phone cards are like phone bills. I pay about $50 for my phones each. For my phones each month, I pay at least $50, and I always try to get that out at least once a month. Um, and it does take a little bit, but I always like to have that at least. Or even like $200 for medical bills, or something like if there's like something that comes up that you need something, it's always good to have that money for cushioning. Um, $30 for medications if you need over the counter medications. I mean, I put aside at least $30 for me because I do have to buy a lot of over the counter medications. So, and saving that money does help a lot. My husband and I like to go out to eat a lot, so I'll save at least $30 to go out to eat. And I even do like $50 for the pharmacy, so in case I need something at the pharmacy, I at least have a little bit of that for that. So, and that's always good to have as well. I spend about 190 in household supplies. Sometimes I do have to go online and buy those things because, like I said before earlier, right now I don't have a lot of services because of COVID and because a lot of there's a lot of setbacks or there's a lot of people leaving their jobs. So, and it does make it hard for me because I don't have a vehicle. I can't drive anywhere. So when it comes to groceries or um, getting supplies, I do have to do a lot of online ordering to get what I need. Like with transportation, I do putting aside some money for like a taxi. Um, is always good in case like $20 for a taxi. It may be more depending on where you are and depending on how far you have to go. It may be more than $20. Even taking the bus, it's um $1.50 more or $1.50 or more to take the bus. I'm not really sure on that. I'm just kind of guesstimating at that point. Usually I always try to round off just so that like I said, I always want to make sure I have plenty of money, like $300 for clothing. You never know when somebody's gonna need clothing. You never know when someone's gonna need glasses or um like even medication copays or like $25 for a test at the doctor's office or things like that. So you always want to pay attention. Like for spending money, I get $55 a month for spending money. It may look like a lot, but I tell you one thing, it really doesn't get you that far. Um, and it does make things really hard, especially when you're on a budget. I mean, like I said, I have a hard time with my budgeting. And that's the reason why I got a payee, because in order for me to do my own money, I need to learn how to budget. So this past year, I've started doing the online banking. And like I said, I do my bills online. Um, and then I get about, I want to say $7.50 a month, maybe less. We'll settle for $8.14. I get $8.14 for money, and when I get that money, I have to divvy that up between rent, the bills, rent, CMP, food, and whatever else I have for that month. I mean, a lot of the money that I have they go into my account, and I have to make sure that I don't spend it. But to tell you one thing, it's very hard not to spend the money that you have. Because if you know it's there, of course you're gonna want to spend it. Because I am the same way. There's been times where I've gotten money and I wanted to spend it. It didn't matter what it was, I still wanted to spend it. Uh, and I think that there's been a few times where I spend it. So by the end of the month, I'm kind of scraping with whatever money I had left over, and I had to make it stretch. And when you stretch the money, it was very thin. So, instead of buying a fancy dinner, I had to settle for those noodles, ramen noodles, because I couldn't buy what I wanted. The only thing I could buy was ramen noodles, because that was the only thing I could afford at the time, because I was dirt broke. Because, like I said, I didn't know how to manage my money, so I had to get by with what I had. And the reason why I'm doing this video is for people to, like, for a learning experience. I mean, it's hard to do budgeting. It's very hard to figure out what your bills are. It's always good to figure out what your bills are ahead of time. Because once you know what they are, you can always plan for them ahead of time, which is a good thing, because planning ahead of time makes it really easy to plan, like separating and doing a budget to make sure you do have enough money for those things, to make sure that you can stretch it to the end of the month, or maybe even longer, to make sure that you have enough food, even putting, some money away. Like I said, you can put, like, for checking. You can put $76 in your checking and not touch it and let it build. It's the same thing for your savings account. You put $189 in your savings account. Leave it there. Let it build. And like with these things here, you can put like whatever you have left over from your 814. You have money left over. You can put that in your savings account. $64. That can go in there. $80. I mean, building up your savings account is always good to have the extra cushion there. You're spending money. Sit down and figure out what do you want to buy with your spending money. Do you want sit down, maybe taking out a little notebook or whatever, and just writing down a budget. Like, what do you do each week? What do you use each week? Some special thing, or like, how much do things cost, and how much do you spend each week? Things like that. Like with clothing, some clothing, like with clothes, if you need clothes, put some money, like $300 in the bank for clothing. Um, and then that way, you know, you can go buy yourself some clothing or some special medical items or whatever you need. That's what that money is for. I mean, for transportation, like taxis or the bus, it's a very good source, so that you have that. Like me, I'm still learning. There's really not any taxis where I live. So I either have to rely on the buses or other transportation, but it's not always easy, like I said, to get that transportation or to save that money. So, I mean, it does take time. It really does. Um, or let's say you have, um, let's say the household supplies went down and you only pay like $120. You can put that in the bank to save. So let's say you need toilet paper or paper towels or some cleaning supplies, some personal care supplies, anything like that. Like I said, it's always good to have that cushioning. Even like with the bills paid or even just taking all this money. You can take all this money and put it in the bank. Or even just setting it out, like divvying it up. So, okay, I got $50, and that is gonna be for my prescription medication that I need this month. And then $30, okay, well, I'm gonna put that aside because my husband and I want a date night. We're gonna go to the movies. Get some popcorn or whatever, get some tickets and some medication. I'm gonna go to Walmart and get some medication there because I may be out of vitamins or things like that. Medical, I'm gonna put 200 in the bank because I got a medical bill coming up or things like that. My phone bill is due, so I'm putting $50. I mean, there's always something going on. Food, lights, rent, those kind of things. The bus, it's always good to at least have some money around laying around, like clothing or anything like that. Separating them, like $55. You can always break them up into weeks. Like $5 can be for coffee, and $10 you gotta go out to eat. $3 for coffee. $20, and that is for whatever you need it for. I want to say maybe some personal care, maybe even some activities. Um, $3 you can get like a coffee beverage or a donut or something. $10 for a sandwich or and $2 for a soda. I mean, there are so many ways you can actually separate your money. Uh, and always being aware of how much you have. Because I've experienced, there's been times where I've gone to the store, not paying attention to what I was buying, because I think like the day before I went out and bought something, but not clicking, okay, well, I spent $12 and now I'm at the store again, but once I get to the register and I try to buy something, it's telling me I don't have enough for it. So it does get embarrassing when that happens. It's always good to know, like I said, it's always good to know how much you have, and it's always good ahead of time to budget out for those things. Because it's also a good learning experience to have. It's also it's a very good skill. Like I said, not everyone's gonna get it right away. I mean, I know some people who have done. Everybody has done it a lot of times. I mean, like me, I'm still learning. I would like to at least do my own being my own payee at some point. But I'm on a trial period where I am going to be paying my own bills. I'm going to be budgeting my own money, keeping track of how much I spend, and making sure I have enough for the whole month. Now, to me, it is scary because, like I said, before, I didn't know how to do that. So, and now that I'm doing it for a trial run, I am very nervous. I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared about doing it because I'm afraid of messing up. I'm afraid that if it happens, that because if I get my whole check, I'm sure she probably won't give me the whole check, but if she gives me the amount she says she's gonna give me, I am worried that, okay, well then, if I use up all that money, I'm gonna have to wait until for a whole another month before I actually get money again. So it's always good to think about those things. Okay, well, this is how much money I have for the whole month, and it's gonna be a whole another month before I get more money. So I do kind of have to slow down and think about what I'm spending it on. Even if you have to keep a notebook and write down, okay, I got chips and soda for a snack, and they were like $6.50. Or my husband and I went to the movies, and it was $12 for tickets and a couple of bucks for popcorn. Write that down. Always making sure, okay, well, okay, I spent this much money and this is what I have left over. Say you have $814 and you spent um 40 bucks. You can calculate in a calculator how much that is. I don't exactly know how much that is. I can't remember. Excuse me, sorry. But I do think it is very important that you learn these skills because I mean, if you go out into the world, it's always very important to know what you're doing, like with a budgeting thing and all that. Some people may know how to do it, some people may struggle with it, and some people um may need more help than others, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with needing help, and there's nothing wrong with and there's nothing wrong with getting help. Um, because I know like I said, I'm one of those people that don't like asking for help, or I feel like I can't ask for help, so I don't ask for help, and then I mess up, and then I screw myself over, and then I'm like, okay, well, now how do I get myself out of this mess? Because I used my debit card. I got overdraft fees, and now I can't use my debit card. I mean, I can now, but I'm just using that as an example because that has happened to me in the past, and those things do happen. So you always got to be careful. If you're using a debit card, you always want to keep track of how much you're spending. Because just because it's still in your bank account, they don't always take it out right away. So you really got to be careful. Um, so let's say you got $30 and you take out $3 for something. So you'd probably have 27. You would have less than that left. So if you take out the three, you're gonna have less than $30. So you always have to pay attention. Just because the money is in there doesn't mean you haven't spent it. Sometimes it takes longer for the bank to take that out. And the reason why I say this is because I've run into that issue. I've actually run into that issue quite a bit. And that was the reason why I didn't use a debit card for a while after that, because I wasn't properly shown how to use it. And that's the reason why I had issues with it. So it took me a while to figure that out. Like, when I got my bank statements, it showed that I either had overdraft fees or I was taking out money out that wasn't in the bank account, or things like that. So and I'm thinking to myself, well, why is this happening? The money's in the, well, and then I was told that just because it looks like it's in your account doesn't mean it's in your account. It just means that the bank hasn't taken it off that yet. So like you always gotta really be careful of that. You always gotta watch out for that. Um, and like I said, even if you use a checkbook register or using a piece of paper and a notebook or a notepad, just writing down and keeping track how much you spend, how much is put in, um, just little things like that to kind of help you with your spending. Uh, I've just recently started using my debit card again, and I'm still nervous about using my debit card. I'm not gonna lie, I'm terrified. But then I talked to my caseworker and I said, I want to learn how to use my debit card. It's been a while since those issues happened. That happened when I was way back living in Sanford, and I didn't have the proper. Uh, I didn't have the right person teaching me how to do uh, balance a checkbook or do any of that. So, but now I am learning and I'm keeping better track of what I'm doing. And things have gotten better. And if I mess up on something, I always tend to catch myself. And I stop using the card to figure out what, and then I go back to figure out what I did wrong. And then I'll be like, okay, and then I fix it. And then we're good again. But it's, like I said, it's always good to be aware of what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, and that's okay. There's always someone out there who can help you or help you or show you how to use it. Um, and me, I still use cash too. I still take my money out every month, but I would like to continue with the online banking. If anyone has any questions, just let me know. Excuse me, and I will let you know. I mean, we can talk about this a little bit more. Um, and I can explain a little bit more how I do things. Like I said, it is a learning experience. I mean, it's something that I'm continue learning. I may have more of this in another video because I do want to continue educating people on the budgeting and to see if anyone else is struggling with it. Because I tend to struggle. I mean, with me, I have issues with points. So I um identifying and doing the right stuff. Well, so with a nickel and a quarter, those kind of look like they're almost the same shape but different designs on them, and they got different presidents. Um, that took me a long time to figure out. Uh, dimes and pennies, not so much because those ones show that they're a little bit more different. But anyway, yeah, I mean it is gonna take some time to get used to budgeting, but eventually you will get it. And like I said, I'm still learning too. So like I said, we're learning together. Um, and like I said too, like let me know what you think about this video. Hit that notification button and like and subscribe, and hopefully I can answer any questions that you guys may have. I may do another budget video and show like different ways to budget. It's not always gonna be the same amount of money all the time. I may change it up to different things. Like with me, I want to buy a house. So I may put that kind of budget together or some other things, but Anyway, I gotta end this video, so I'll see you guys in the next video.